Most people on the planet believe that this is the truth about where they are and how the earth is shaped. In this video, I'm going to give you 7 questions that you can ask a person that will guide them to the realization that this may actually be a lie without being labeled a crazy flat earther or conspiracy theorist. Out of 100 Uber and Lyft passengers that were asked these 7 questions, 22 out of 100 still thought that this was the truth about the shape of the earth, and 78 out of 100 believed that they may have been lied to about the shape of the earth. Question number 1 is, do you believe that you were taught the truth in school? Most people say no. Question number 2 is, what percentage of what you were taught in school do you think is a lie? Most people said anywhere between 80 to 100%. Question number 3 is the most important question and answer, but most people won't know the answer to this question. The question is, do you know what, when, and who made it mandatory for all of us to go to school? Again, most people are going to say no, and that's what we want because it gives you an opportunity to give them the answer. This is important because it shows them that you've spent time researching this topic and you may know some information that they don't, and it subconsciously puts them in a state of receiving information or being taught something. After they say no, you're going to inform them that the General Education Board was created in 1903 by John D. Rock, and that's what made it mandatory for all of us to go to school. You'll also tell them that before the General Education Board was created in 1903, we all learned how to read and write in church. We'd have class for a few hours, a couple days out of the week. Most people don't know this, so again, this will help them perceive you as someone who's well researched on this topic rather than a conspiracy theorist or flat earther. Allow them to respond. It's important to make sure that you don't make them feel like you're dominating the conversation or just spilling a bunch of information onto them. After you've allowed them to speak and you responded to whatever it is that they said, before you ask question number 4, this is what you're gonna say to them. It blew my mind when I found out that it was the Rockefellers that wrote the curriculum and chose what we all had to learn. By now, they're perceiving you as a well-researched man or woman that knows what you're talking about. And again, we want to stay far away from being labeled a conspiracy theorist or flat earther, regardless of if you are a flat earther or not, because the population has been taught to view conspiracy theorists and flat earthers as nutcases. This is why the news and popular mainstream television programs like Jimmy Kimmel went to the Flat Earth Convention and found the most crazy looking people to showcase to the world.
Many of those same people believe the earth is flat, like a tortilla. They're called flat earthers. We sent our pal Jake Bird to a flat earth conference in Dallas, Texas to do some unearthing and some flat earthing. And here he is, Jake Bird, with the people who live on a pancake.
Tactics like this are used to guide the population into viewing all flat earthers as nutcases, and it worked. They also recently used this tactic to make people that didn't want to get these seem like crazies. A good example of this is Shaq and Kyrie Irving. When they said that they thought the earth was flat, they were instantly ridiculed and laughed at. Now this is the 4th question that you ask them. What do you think the purpose of school is? Now with this question, it doesn't matter what they say, because the purpose of the question is to create an opportunity for you to give them more key information without dominating the conversation. You have to give people a chance to speak. So you allow them to answer, and then you give a genuine response to whatever it is that they said. And then this is what you say to them next. I think the purpose was to create workers. John D. Rock said he wanted a nation of workers and not thinkers. And you want to show them this image. Adding an image to the words that you're saying will assist in changing their perception, because that's what you're doing. You're changing their perception. I'll put a download link to this image in the description of this video so you can save it to your phone. If you're watching this on TikTok, just go to my YT, find this video, and you can grab it from the description. Now the 5th question is, do you think that the Rockefellers are trustworthy people? And of course, most people will say no. Now watch this. After giving all the answers that they just gave you, question number 6 will put anyone that thought that this is the true shape of the earth in a tough situation mentally. Next, you ask them, do you think that it's possible that you could have been lied to about the shape of the earth in school? 78 out of 100 people said that they could have been lied to, because they just told you that they don't think that they were taught the truth in school, and they believe 80 to 100% of what they were taught was lies, and they now know that someone that they don't trust chose the curriculum. The goal was not to get them to say that they think the earth is flat. We just wanted to open their mind to the idea that they could have been lied to. Now they're left with the question mark in their mind about the shape of the earth. earth. And it's that question mark that encourages people to begin their own research and go down the rabbit hole. Now, this is where you're starting to change their perception or open them up to the idea that they were lied to. Again, you still do not want them to label you as a flat earther. So now you're going to separate yourself from flat earthers. In order to do this, you say, I don't know that the earth is flat when we have 29,000 feet high mountains like Mount Everest. So it doesn't really make sense to say that the earth is flat. But there are some things that I was taught in school that I recently started to question. And now, instead of dismissing you as a crazy flat earther, they're all ears. They want to hear what you have to say because you're coming off as an intelligent, interesting, critical thinker. So you continue. Something that I've really been thinking about is how we were all taught that we're spinning at 1,000 miles per hour right now while blasting through space at 67,000 miles per hour. Looking at what's in front of me, there's nothing that I see right here that tells me that I'm spinning while blasting through space. As you're saying this, you do a hand gesture that'll guide them to look around the surrounding area. And then you say, if I'm being honest with myself, it seems like we're not moving at all. It looks and it feels like we're stationary. I don't know everything that flat earthers believe, but I do think that they might be onto something when they say that the earth is stationary. The only reason that I've always thought that we were spinning and blasting through space is because I was taught that in school. When you say that, same people are thinking about it and agreeing with you. But if you had allowed yourself to be labeled as a flat earther, even though you're saying something that makes sense, they would be more reluctant to agree with you. Now, this is where you blow their mind and gain their respect. They will never forget you after this, because this will be the moment that their perception officially changes. You tell them, you know what made me really question that we're on the globe the most? I was always under the impression that we knew the earth was a globe since the 1500s when Copernicus introduced the heliocentric model. Come to find out, we were all still being taught that the earth was flat as recent as the 1920s and 30s. This brings us to the 7th question. Did you know that the schools were teaching all of us that the earth was flat up into the 1920s and 30s? Most people are gonna say no, and not only will they just say no, but they won't even believe what you're saying. But that's a good thing because you have the proof. This is the key right here. Nothing else that you said to this person matters if you don't do this. You're gonna say, this is what made me feel like I needed to at least look into what flat earthers were saying, because I've always just dismissed them as crazies. Now when you say that, they're thinking in their head, I dismiss them as crazies too. So they're all ears. Next, you're gonna pull your phone out and say, look, listen to what this 102-year-old lady that was born in 1918 said. You hand them your phone and play this video. They will never forget that you were the person that showed them this, and they'll end up telling people about the conversation that they had with you in their personal life. If you're watching this video on TikTok, I can't play what the 102-year-old lady said on here, but I'm gonna play it right now for the people watching on YT. If you wanna see it, you can go over there and watch this video.
How old are you today?
102.
102. So you were born in
1918.
1918. We were just talking and I asked you what shape the earth is. And what did you say? What were you taught in school?
I
in
was
elementary
taught
school.
in school that the earth was flat.
Do you remember when they changed it to a globe?
Well, when they changed it, I remember when they changed it, but I can't remember the date.
This is what you say to them after they see that video. You take your phone back and you say, that's crazy, isn't it? And it's even crazier that no one knows this. It's almost as if it's being hidden from everyone. And then you close out with this. After I saw that video, I found out that it was mandatory for classrooms that have globes in them when they did finally start teaching that the earth was a globe in the 40s. And then you end it there, change the subject. Do not keep discussing it. You want them to go home and think about what you taught them on their own time. You can use this on your family members, friends, co-workers, and it's always fun to see how they react to the questions.
Sit with me.